In my last video, I talked about why I don't stream on Twitch anymore, even though I was a Twitch partner with 250 average viewers. My friend 𝐁𝐔𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐒 left a comment on that video that said, "I stopped streaming so much purely with the idea of a business that pays more money the more and harder I work." Obviously, streaming doesn't do that. I think streaming isn't a very good use of a person's time. It's fun, it's full of memories, but when you're 40 and you haven't earned a house, you haven't invested in health and adventure, and you're missing out on a lot of family experiences and other things, it just doesn't feel worth it. To which I replied exactly this: "Man, that gives me the idea for a video." This is that video. So thank you, 𝐁𝐁. Go and follow his YouTube channel, and thank you everybody else for all the comments. That was really nice of you. So let's dive into why streaming on Twitch is keeping you broke. We're gonna look at small streamers, medium streamers, and large streamers, and how they financially compare to each other, and how streaming on Twitch affects your financial future. Let's start with small streamers. So small streamers are the 99.9%. This is the largest majority of Twitch. I classify these as streamers who have 0 to 75 viewers. Sometimes they're affiliate, sometimes they're smaller, and they're not. We're assuming here that the small streamer always receives their monthly $100 payout. I'm sure you guys know this does not always happen. They also don't have any sponsors or additional income from their content. So that is the type of creator that we are specifically analyzing here. First off, let's calculate their hourly rate. We might find some interesting information just purely from this data. So we're going to start with a very typical streaming schedule, which is the one that I used to recommend. This is 3 streams per week at 3 hours per stream. Now that's only 9 hours of streaming every week. However, you know that there are things outside of the actual stream that these small streamers are doing, whether they're posting on social media, organizing their stream, making cool graphics. So I'm going to average this out around 15 hours of work per week. If this streamer is doing 15 hours of work per week and they're making $100 every single month, this makes their hourly rate $1.60 per hour. I don't know about you guys, but already I am not loving this. But what happens if we take that $100 every month and we invest it? Let's say we ignore taxes and instead we're gonna put this in an account for 15 years, $100 every month with a 6% average rate of return. After 15 years, that streamer is going to have $28,830. Now, this is obviously not enough to retire on. You're not paying the taxes on it, which is illegal. This is a very small amount, but the reason that I wanted to show you this investment rate is to compare it. Now, let's say that instead of spending those 15 hours every single week going live on Twitch for $1.60 an hour, instead you're gonna be a contractor. So you're gonna take that same skill set of creating content, whether it's social media, video, or going live across various platforms, and instead of doing it for your own brand, you're gonna do it for companies or startups. So in this example, if you take that 15 hours per week, you're gonna make much more than $1.60 an hour. The average going market rate for this type of work for a small streamer who can demonstrate experience to these companies is around $45 an hour. Sometimes you see roles that are less, sometimes you see roles that are more. So if you're working 15 hours a week, at $45 per hour, you are already making so much more money, baby. You are gonna make $2,700 per month. So let's say we take that $2,700 per month and we do the same thing that the other streamer did that was making the $1.60 an hour. We're not gonna pay taxes. We're not gonna do anything else with it, but we're gonna invest it, right? $2,700 a month invested monthly for 15 years at a 6% rate of return is $778,000 and 432. This means in this very basic example that streaming on Twitch is actually costing you about $750,000. That is the long-term financial difference between you using your skill set for companies compared to being a small streamer. Now, keep in mind this data is making a lot of assumptions here, but I think it very clearly demonstrates the difference financially between working for a company versus using that same amount of time to stream. And remember, the typical small streamer is having to pay 30% in taxes. They don't have a 401k, they don't have health insurance, they're probably not investing, and they're spending a bunch of money to keep their dream of streaming alive. They're buying a bunch of equipment. So long-term financial cost is likely closer to $1 million. But surely it can't be all bad, right? Let's look at medium streamers and see how it works out for them. When we're talking about medium-sized streamers, we're talking about the 0.1%. So these are the streamers who have 75 to 1,000 viewers. They're Twitch partners. We're assuming that they're making monthly around $8,000. This is pretty uncommon. There are some streamers who make much less and they are full-time creators, and there are some that make more within this category. We're also going to assume that they have payments outside of how much money that they're making from their Twitch payout. Maybe they have sponsors, merchandise, other types of income. So to calculate their hourly rate, we're going to take that $8,000 per month, divide it by 40 hours per week, and that gives us $50 an hour. This is already way better than the $1.60 an hour the small streamer was making. However, this does assume that the large or the medium creator is able to make $8,000 a month and that they're only working 40 hours a week. Some of these people are working 60, 80, 100 hours a week, but we're going to stick with this just for this exercise. Now, this streamer is a smarty. They know that they need to pay their taxes. So we are going to remove 30% of their total monthly gross income, and we're going to preserve that in a savings account somewhere else and save it for taxes. This means that they're bringing in $5,600 a month net. Now, let's assume this medium streamer is also really smart and knows that they want to stream full-time for a long time, so they are going to invest. That way, they will have something to retire on. By the way, a lot of streamers are not doing this. This is an especially smart medium-sized streamer. Let's say they invest 10% of their income over 15 years at a 6% rate of return. This is going to get them $161,452. Now, I don't know about you guys. I don't know anybody that can retire on $161,000. The recommendation as of right now is anywhere from like 2 to 3 million, depending on where you live. Sometimes it can be even more. Okay, well, one way we can potentially fix this is by investing a larger percentage of our income. So let's see what happens whenever we invest 25% of this $5,600 monthly net over 15 years at the same rate of return. So this streamer is going to get $403,631. They'll have that in an investment account after the 15 years is over. $400,000 is still nowhere close to where we need to be. Okay, well, what happens if instead of spending our 40 hours per week streaming, instead we are going to use those same skills, growing social media accounts, growing communities, creating content. We're going to work for companies. We're going to be able to charge a little bit more than the $45 an hour a small streamer is going to charge because we have much more demonstrable success and a following. And we're going to work 40 hours per week for a company at $60 an hour. This equates to about $9,600 per month. Now, we don't really need to do the investment rate here. We know that $2,700 invested monthly for 15 years at a 6% rate of return is the same as what this small streamer as a contractor was doing, which is $778,432. Also, you probably understand that if we take the same investment rate at 10% of total net income or 25% of total net income, it's going to be higher than both of these numbers simply because the contractor is earning more money. So they're taking home $9,600 a month versus the $8,000 a month that this medium-sized size streamer is taking in. So we know number go up. So what this demonstrates is that a full-time contractor who's making about $10,000 a month and investing the same amount of money that this illegal small streamer as a contractor was investing is, yes, making the same amount on their investment, but they are doing it legally because they are also putting taxes into a savings account and paying on their taxes. They are paying their rent. They are paying bills. So this is a full-time position, right? In order to be full-time as a contractor at this investment rate and making this amount of money, here are the results. So to me, what this data is telling me is that if you are a medium-sized streamer, you need to be making around or at least $60 an hour for the work that you're doing. If you are not making $60 an hour, you can likely make a lot more money working for companies. You'll be able to increase your investments, have more money saved for tax season, etc. However, $778,000, as we said, is not nearly enough to retire on. So how in the world are we going to get $2 to $3 million to be able to retire? We can either increase the amount that we're investing monthly, or we increase the amount of time that we invest for. So let's say we decrease the amount that we invest each month and we increase the amount of time because we know that we have a longer timeline here. We need to make sure that we're making consistent money. So $2K invested monthly for 25 years at a 6% rate of return equals $1.3 million. So unfortunately, this is still not enough to retire. This means that a streamer who is investing $2,000 every single month, most of them are not, a streamer who is streaming for 25 years. Can you stream for 25 years? You have to stay consistent for that long. And you're investing with an average 6% rate of return, still will not be able to afford to retire after 25 years. You would need to invest $2,000 per month for, guess how long? 35 years to retire as a medium streamer. And here's the huge problem with that. This is assuming that you are able to maintain your relevancy enough to be making $8,000 per month on average over 35 years. Do you think most medium-sized streamers are going to stream for 35 years and be able to consistently invest $2,000 every single month? All right, now let's look at the largest streamers. You'll realize that there aren't a lot of calculations here, and that is because we're talking about the 0.0001%. These are the streamers who have more money and viewers than God. They're making $25 million a month or $1 million from OnlyFans each month, whatever. These people are making so much money, and this is the issue with large streamers. Large streamers are selling this like glorified perfect vision of what it means to be full-time on Twitch. Most people are not getting to that level. Most streamers will not even be able to invest to retire, buy a home, or have financial freedom. But they're investing their time as this streaming is going to unlock those things for them because they see all of these larger content creators who have achieved that dream and think that it's possible for them as well. But these people have professional financial planners, they're investing, they own businesses, like they are gonna be okay. The people that are getting screwed here are you guys, the small or medium-sized creators. And a lot of people say, well, I don't stream for the money or I stream as a hobby, which sure, but how is streaming affecting your financial future? There is an opportunity cost. Any 15 hours that you spend on something is 15 hours that you're not spending somewhere else. If you want to make more money, that's completely available to you, but it's very difficult to do whenever you're spending your time doing things that aren't ultimately going to make you money. And there's a difference between streaming as a hobby and streaming as a hobby, which I've noticed is what a lot of smaller streamers actually do. They say that they're streaming as a hobby, but they actually really want to make money. They really want to find a way to do what they love and to make an extra income for themselves. That's completely possible, but as you can see here, it's not possible with Twitch. And of course, I'm analyzing all of this from a purely practical financial standpoint. This does not include the mental health costs of streaming, the physical health costs of streaming, the amount of hours that you're working, and there are so many other situations that we can't cover in this video. This is obviously an issue that not enough people are talking about that is going to dramatically affect you and every other streamer's future. This is also why I'm working on my financial education instructor certification, and I'm building out another channel to talk about finance and financial freedom and doing it in a way that is low cringe, because I feel like most finance content out there is just super gross clickbait. Also, I'm not saying that streaming on Twitch is completely worthless. I do think that it fits into some lifestyles if you are genuinely just doing it for a hobby, if you're one of the very, very, very small percentage of people who are making enough money to be able to invest for your future, and as a scalable source of side income, which I'll talk about probably in a video on my other channel. But ultimately, for me, it didn't make sense. And actually, for a lot of streamers out there, it doesn't make financial sense long term. They don't even know. So share this video with them. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.